Thank you for joining us today. Hello and welcome to Business Daily. I'm Lee Ji-yoon in Seoul. We have plenty on our plate today, so let's get started with a look at the day's highlights. Korean cosmetics are flying off the shelves, especially in duty-free shops, where nearly half of the products sold in the first 4 months of this year were locally made. Starting August 1st, Korea will extend trading hours for stock and foreign exchange markets by 30 minutes, with the hopes of increasing market capital and improving investor access. We sit down with an expert to talk about this. But first, Korea's central bank revised its GDP growth upward by 0.1 of a percentage point for the first quarter, but it still puts the country's economic expansion below the 1% mark. Our Shin Se-min starts us off.
Another quarter of slowing growth, but with a slight upward revision. The Korean economy grew 0.5% in the first 3 months of this year from the previous quarter, keeping growth in the 0% range again. The Bank of Korea's initial growth estimate was at 0.4%. It's a slowdown from the fourth quarter last year when the country logged growth of 0.7%. In fact, GDP expansion has set in the 0% range for 7 quarters, with the exception of the third quarter last year, when a government stimulus package following the MERS outbreak helped nudge figures over the 1% mark. The Bank of Korea attributed this to conditions that remain dismal both at home and abroad, while shedding light on the upward adjustment.
Government front-loading and a 6.8% increase in construction investment helped push GDP growth up by 0.1 percentage points.
Korea's exports dipped over 1%, while consumer spending contracted 0.2% in the first quarter. The country's gross national income expanded 2.7%. At the same time, the savings rate shot up by nearly 2%, meaning despite a rise in income, more Koreans are reluctant to spend.
Uncertainties in the local economy, driven by external factors, have caused more households to close their wallets. That means a lower key rate, normally designed to encourage people to take out loans, won't help boost household spending.
Experts add that a more aggressive and a long-term government policy to help prop up spending is needed, instead of a stimulus package that only has limited effects. With the ongoing corporate restructuring in the shipbuilding and shipping firms freezing up public sentiment even more, experts say that the central bank's monetary policy alone will not be enough to stir up fresh growth momentum. Shin Se-min, Business Daily.
President Park Geun-hye landed in Paris for a state visit as Korea and France celebrate 130 years of diplomatic relations this year. And while she's there, President Park and French President François Hollande will discuss ways to boost economic cooperation and seek joint growth engines for the future. Here's our Song Ji-sun with more.
Saturday marks the 130th anniversary of diplomatic ties between Seoul and Paris, and President Park's state visit to France was made possible by an invitation from her French counterpart, François Hollande. Through summit talks Friday, the two leaders will adopt a joint communique aimed at strengthening their comprehensive partnership in the 21st century. Seoul sees that there's still room for growth in expanding trade volume and investment with the world's 6th largest economy and the 3rd biggest in Europe. To realize the potential, the two sides will seek to diversify trade items and bolster investment, while seeking to foster new industries and the creative economy. In particular, Seoul and Paris will seek ways to bolster cooperation in high value-added sectors and technologies, from aeronautics to bio and medicine.
Upon the suggestion of the French government, President Park will also visit Grenoble to rev up cooperation in green and renewable energy, as well as high-tech industries like nanotechnology for creative economy.
President Park begins her official schedule in France with a business forum and partnership on Thursday. She'll also be granted a Doctor of Science degree at a Paris university, acknowledging her initiatives for creative economy and cultural prosperity. Song Ji-sun, Business Daily, Paris.
The volatility of Korea's benchmark Kospi has hit its lowest level in a year, despite jitters over another potential rate hike by the U.S. Federal Reserve. According to Korea Exchange on Thursday, the Kospi 200 Volatility Index, or V-Kospi 200 futures, stood at 11.55 as of May 27th, the lowest since mid-May of last year. The latest figure reflected unexpected stability in sentiment, considering the current variables that could trigger fluctuations. In August, the index rose to 28.58 in anticipation of a Fed liftoff and China's economic slowdown. Analysts say the current stability could be because the potential elements of uncertainty, including Britain's possible exit from the EU, have already been priced in. And staying on the markets, we're going to see the daily trading hours of Korea's stock and foreign exchange markets extended by half an hour starting August 1st. Now, the idea is to increase the daily trading volume and attract more investment from abroad. But exactly how effective will this be? Take a look.
Korea Exchange announced last week that it will extend regular trading hours of its stocks and derivatives markets by half an hour from the first day of August. This puts the new trading hours for the local stock market at 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Korea time, adjusted from the current 9 to 3. Derivatives trading will be from 9 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. This change comes as the country looks to increase the global footing of its capital market and enhance investor convenience. This is the first trading hour adjustment in 16 years since 2000, when the market's lunch break was abolished. Given that the Shanghai Stock Exchange closes at 4 p.m. Korea time, while Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing closes at 5, and the Singapore Bourse stays open until 6 p.m., KRX believes that shorter hours have crimped swift reaction to changes in global trading.
We're looking to increase global competitiveness by creating more overlap with markets in Greater China.
But the Bourse Operators Labor Union opposes the plan, saying the exchange made a hasty decision with the goal of entering the MSCI Developed Market Index. The union adds the extension of trading hours will only worsen conditions for dealers.
And to tell us more about this, we have Professor Kim Sooyoung from Ewha Women's University joining us in the studio today. Welcome to the program.
Pleasure to be here.
All right, so Korea Exchange said it will extend trading hours by 30 minutes starting August 1st to not only invigorate the local stock markets, but also to boost global competitiveness. Now, how has the local stock market been performing?
Well, broadly speaking, this year's stock market is slightly worse than that of the last year. So if you take a look at Kospi, which is representative index of the market, it is moving between 1900 and 2000 this year. But that is like a 100 point lower than last year. So, but in terms of the trading volume, we have exactly almost same amount compared to the last year.
All right, so going back to trading hours, how do our trading hours compare to that of other countries then?
Well, the extended trading session is about exactly 6 hours, 6.5 hours in Korea, but it is longer than that of the other neighbor Asian countries, but shorter than that of the European countries. For example, Hong Kong market provides 5.5 hours per day.
Okay.
It is followed by Japan's 5 hours, and Taiwanese market offers like 4.5 hours only. However, European countries like UK, Germany, and France all provide 8.5 hours of trading per day.
And this is the first time that trading hours are being extended in 16 years,
Right.
when the Bourse operator actually abolished the 1 hour lunch break back in 2000. So what happened back then?
Well, when they abolished the lunch break in 2000, there was huge increase of the trading volume, over 60% in monthly basis.
Oh, wow.
However, there was a serious decrease of the stock prices, over 5%. But that effects only continued over 2 months.
And like we heard in the report, this time change also comes as part of efforts to create, I guess, more overlap with bourses in China and Hong Kong, right?
Right. We have only 1 hour time lag with Chinese stock market and Hong Kong stock market. And the extended 30 minutes sessions increases overlaps with this Hong Kong and Shanghai market. But that increases Korean investors, particularly individual investors, more participation in Chinese market. However, the opposite might be not true because Chinese individual investors are less involved in Seoul's market.
But then there are also concerns about too much interconnectivity with Chinese markets because doesn't Korea's bid for the MSCI Developed Markets Index have more to do with avoiding direct competition?
Well, actually, there is a complicated story behind the big plan of the Chinese government for having one of the best financial market. So when the domestic situation matures, they will try to merge Hong Kong's and Shanghai's market. But as of now, in terms of the size, Shanghai's stock market is many times bigger than that of the Seoul market. But in terms of the development, we are kind of superior than that of the Shanghai's market. So there won't be serious competition in the next 10 years.
So not too much to worry about there. Okay, will this 30-minute extension actually help to draw greater investment from foreign investors?
Right. Actually, I don't think there is much influences from major investors like Americans and Europeans because even with extended 30 minutes trading session, we don't have simultaneous openings of the Seoul, London market and Seoul, New York markets.
Right.
So as I explained before, however, there will be some effects from Chinese market.
Now, what are some other countries that changed trading hours and saw some positive effects from it?
Well, according to international experience, we do have impact from extended trading session on trading volume. And for example, in 2011, Hong Kong Stock Market Exchange extended 30 minutes trading session. That increased 40% of the trading volume. And India and Singapore had a similar experience before.
Now, but there's also opposition over this time change, and some are even saying that this is just not enough to actually boost the markets.
Exactly. In terms of the boosting market, we have two meanings, in terms of the price and in terms of the trading volume. So we know that there will be positive impacts on trading volume by extending trading session. However, we do not have, we are kind of skeptical of its effects on increasing price of the stock market because there won't be recovery of the stock market without economic recoveries.
Right, so we'll definitely have to keep an eye on what happens after August 1st.
Exactly.
All right, thank you so much for coming in today, Professor.
Thank you.
At a time when Seoul's brand new duty-free stores are fighting to secure high-end European brands, a new report shows that products made right here in Korea are what many outbound shoppers are picking up this year. Our Kim tells us more.
Shilla iPark Duty-Free in Seoul opened its doors late last year. Its 6th floor is stocked with a plethora of Korean skincare and makeup products. That's because they're sought after by many traveling shoppers.
We place the domestic cosmetic brands popular among Chinese tourists on the high floor, so the shower effect can flow to the lower floors as well.
According to a fresh report by Korea Customs Service, duty-free sales in the first 4 months of this year was up 18% year over year, ringing in a cool $3.13 billion. Notable is that nearly half of the products sold were made in Korea. The top category of them all, by and large, was Korean cosmetics, making up 68% of purchases, followed by bags, ginseng, and tobacco products. Pushed up by the popularity of sheet masks, lip tints, and cushion compacts, thanks to the proliferation of Korean dramas and K-culture, the ratio of local goods in Korea's duty-free sales has consistently expanded, projected to have more than doubled in the past 4 years to exceed 42%. In dollar terms, Korean cosmetic sales nearly tripled from what it was in 2012 last year at $2.8 billion.
When local products are bought at duty-free stores, this leads to a much bigger effect on the domestic economy, like on production and jobs.
In the big picture, goods imported from other countries still make up the majority of what shoppers buy at Korea's tax-free shopping centers. But as Korean products riding on the Hallyu wave swiftly rise in reputation as well as store placement, there's hope the ripple effect will reach out and touch the country's small and medium-sized businesses too. Eunice Kim, Business Daily.
And that wraps it up for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow with more business news that matters to you. Until then, goodbye.